Welcome to the official catch-up. Today I've got Shaun Spedden. How are you doing, Shaun?
I'm good, thanks. Just lapping up all the isolation, trying to keep myself busy, obviously. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a wee bit glad. The weather's been obviously quite nice and you can only go out once a day. It's a wee bit gutting, but it's nice to have good weather, I suppose, and it's just typical of Scotland that, that'll be the case because I'm assuming when lockdown's over it'll probably be, winter, maybe?
No, true, but I don't know, getting in the garden's not too bad. I'm kind of glad it's the summer as opposed to the winter, but one thing I have noticed over these last 4 weeks, I think at least Scotland's new pastime is painting fences. Like, you can't go out and walk 5 minutes without seeing somebody painting a fence, so I don't even need to paint the fence, and I'm considering painting the fence just for the hell of it, or just going and painting somebody's fence because I feel like I might be missing out a wee bit.
Oh yeah, missing the action, mate.
I know.
My back garden's weird. It's kind of like steep. It's got like steps going up and stuff like that. And basically, all I can do in the back garden is just stare at my house. So I don't really see the point of going out. So, and we've also got Ben Grant with us. How you doing, Ben? How you keeping?
Not too bad. Good to be here. To get my hat-trick ball for my third appearance on the official catch-up.
I was about to say, Ben, we'll need to add you to the Twitter profile or something. You're becoming more and more a regular, eh? But
That's it. Get my hat-trick ball sent up.
So obviously the biggest news recently, and I know you'll have a lot of opinions on this, Ben, I can see.
maybe some. Who knows?
The West Juniors have obviously called the league, and Auchinleck Talbot have been given the title amongst other teams from the points per game perspective. What are your views to start with, then?
Yeah, well, I thought the first thing I think I'd point out is that no team that was sitting top of the table just now ended up being the champions of the league based on this points per game decision that they've came to. Obviously, Talbot sitting top. Blantyre and Darvel have had it looks like a joint winners because they had a closer points per game kind of ratio. Shettleston come from third to top, and then Johnston Borough come from fifth all the way up to first. So yeah, it's a strange decision. I think all the teams that I mentioned, I'm trying to generalise here as best I can. Obviously, I've got a vested interest in co-winning, but every team's had games in hand, and then therefore have managed to win leagues from way further back. Personally, from a co-winning point of view, I think obviously we had a great season. The boys have been excellent throughout the course of the entire season. Can't really fault them. We had a slight blip in the Scottish Cup, but that's forgotten about. But in terms of league position, we were just hoping really to stay in the league. I think that was the main goal for us. We have, as it stands, finished top of the table. So great season for them. But the decision to give Talbot the title, this is a really strange one because they have played so many less games than ourselves. Talbot played 16 games. We played 25, and it comes down to 0.4 points per game to give them the title, which seems too close to the side. I think that's one of the main things. Obviously, it has a lot of ramifications as well, not just the fact that someone's crowned champions, but very, very disappointing so far.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people have been saying, the Lowland League, went through the points per game thing, but to be honest, it was maybe 2-3 games in it, not as many as 9. It's a bit crazy, and it must be the first time in history of football that a team that's finished third and even fifth have won a title, surely.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. I think if we'd both played 22, 23, 24, 25 games, then we would have no arguments to say that it's really fair. But 16 to 25, obviously Talbot have got the Scottish Cup games that they've had to play, we accept that the Talbot have games in hand. However, I don't think deciding the league title is really the way to go. I think deep down for me, it doesn't really matter because we are moving across to senior football this season.
Yeah.
So it's not really that big a deal. But definitely, I think from our point of view, it's a hard one to take certainly for the fans. I think the fans are probably the ones that are most upset about it. I think the fact that they've watched the team do so well this year and it's decided on, let's just say, 0.4 of a points per game, based on essentially assumption that they're going to win all those games effectively. I think I sat and worked out some numbers last night. I mean, if they dropped like 2 or 3 games, the points per game becomes, I think, 2.3 or something like that. So the split's only like 0.2. So it's a strange decision. But I think the main thing for us is the Scottish Cup, the Senior Scottish Cup entry. It gets lost for us. So that's the most upsetting thing, I think, for us as a team, that we don't even get a chance at the Senior Scottish this year.
I can imagine, obviously, 2-3 games in it, you'd probably say, well, fair enough, but 9, that's a massive amount. And in fairness to Talbot, yeah, you probably would look at it and say, they probably would have went on and won those games. But again, making a decision based on a team that's got the points on the board compared to a team that are, 9 games in hand, I don't know. I think it's a crazy decision, to be honest.
No, I think it is. Like you said there, it was probably a first for a team to win the 5th. But I think this sort of season is going to be a first for a lot of things. And it is it's a tough way. It's a tough way to go, I suppose. But it's one of those difficult decisions, And they probably could have worked out a different way, which would have ended in Kilwinning getting the title, and you would have found that Auchinleck would have been, they would have been upset with it. So it's a tough one at the end of the day, and that Scottish Cup place, I suppose, is the main thing. But if anything, it's hopefully something that will make next season a bit more exciting, especially for your Kilwinning and what have you, who had a brilliant start to the season, was sitting at the top of the league, and hopefully they'll carry that into next season, I suppose, into the New West of Scotland, to make it a wee bit more interesting, because Auchinleck are a team that, I suppose, the team you hear the most out of the juniors because of their presence in the Scottish Cup. But Kilwinning have certainly made a name for themselves a little bit throughout this, especially for being in the discussion. So yeah, it makes for a bit more of an exciting season next year, I suppose.
If you, I don't know if obviously Kilwinning and Auchinleck will be in the same conference, but if you play Auchinleck, are you looking forward to that game, Ben? I can imagine it'll be feisty.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we played them twice last season. The first game of the season we played them was at Bus Park. It was actually our first league game. It was at Bus Park against Talbot, and we drew 0-0. So we knew at that point that we could potentially take them. We didn't see enough at that point to suggest there was a big gap, and then we played them in December, but we were going through a bit of a rough spell. We lost like 6-1, which up until I think about an hour in that game, we were close, so we just kind of arse almost collapsed, I think, and we basically ended up getting destroyed. But I think our boys will be certainly ready. I don't think we'll play them, because I think if obviously the conference setup does come with the whole kind of the suggestion of the top 4 from the Prem, or basically based on seedings in the Premier League and down to Championship, League 1, League 2, we probably won't play them. I think we'll be the kind of like the top seed, if you like, within one of the conferences. So the likelihood is we'll not get a Talbot or a Pollock, or maybe even a Remedo. I'm not sure who the 4th team was. So yeah, I don't think we'll play them if we get in the Scottish Cup, or the Challenge Cup, or whatever the cups are, in the senior football for us next season. That'll be interesting if we could get a draw against them at some point in the cup. We drew them in the West of Scotland Cup, so we still had that to play as well. But yeah, I think the Scottish Cup thing in general is a really disappointing one. I mean, we know from speaking to Moza, like, what that can do for clubs in terms of finances. You can get a bit of a run. The Scottish Cup, you guys at Kelty are only saying they've had a couple of good runs at the Scottish Cup as well. So you'll be able to get the money in from that we're not going to get now, which could help us with the building of the stadium and doing all the works we want to do for getting licensed, etc.
Yeah, and there has been a wee bit of news. I don't know how reliable it is, but I did hear about George Fraser, obviously the chairperson of the Lowland League and BSC Glasgow, basically come out and say that the South Challenge Cup next season will be, well, whenever obviously the season gets played, but will be mandatory for all non-league teams. So there will be a West and East thing, and I think that's great. I think we've talked about it quite a fair bit. I've obviously spoken to a few of the players and the gaffers, and I think it's something that needed to happen, because that'll bring in the fans, that'll bring in the excitement, and yeah, maybe I'll be through in Kilwinning when we're back, Ben.
Maybe you could organise like the official Catchup pre-season cup or something. You get a wee what is it? Get 4 teams involved in the official Catchup Cup playoff, and a wee 2-day tournament or something. Cowannon, Kelty, Bonnyrigg, BSC. There you go. There's the 4 teams for the official Catchup Cup. There you go.
That'd be brilliant. We have actually had a few. Well, obviously, a wee bit behind the scenes, but there has been sort of talk of maybe I don't know, like a Lowland sort of super team, if you will, or whatever they call it, all-star team.
Yeah.
And then I know back on side, when I spoke to Libby, she's keen to put a sort of back on side team together, maybe with guys like Gary O'Connor and stuff. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunity when we're back to maybe get hopefully a charity game or something along those lines. Yeah. Be fantastic.
No, absolutely. I think anything like that sounds decent. And you get a lot of wee pre-season tournaments. You always make it a bit more interesting. I know I've been to a couple through our neck of the woods, and it makes for a bit more an interesting couple of days in the pre-season. So yeah, it'd be good to see a couple of them go ahead, and yeah, down the line it'd be nice to be able to sponsor one or do something along those lines. And yeah, what you're saying about these sort of super. I'd love to see it before, but I'd love to see a Lowland and a Highland one, even a few years down the line once all these conferences are sorted out. I think it'd be really good to see an annual sort of Highland teams versus Lowland teams, and you could include your East, your West, and what will be the subdivisions up underneath the Highland as well. In that as well, would be nice to see something like that down the line. Like absolutely.
Something we've sort of been discussing on the podcast we've been on, guys, is obviously reconstruction. We're a wee bit further forward with obviously the team that's going to decide it's been put together. Obviously George Fraser's involved in that, guys from the Highland League, and Budge of Hearts, and I think they made some strange choices in the SPFL, to be honest. But it'll be interesting. Have you got any thoughts on anything like that, the sort of developments of that going on, guys?
I'm quite liking the momentum that I'm hearing about the 14, 10, 10 and 10. So I'm hearing a lot more positives and a lot more people that are for it. But we're kind of at that stage where it's only really being discussed by the guys that are interested. Seeing a few statements coming out for the likes of Livingston that don't really have any personal gain to come from, or at least any obvious personal gain to come from that league structure, sort of backing it as well, is quite good to see. So yeah, it's been quite interesting to watch it unfold, and we've obviously seen Hibs drop out of it as well, and St Mirren take their place. So it's just good to see that it's quite active, and I'm interested to see kind of what the next steps are after they maybe make their proposal and it goes to a vote. That'll be interesting, especially after we all seen what happened with the last time that the SPFL tried to vote on something. So fingers crossed this one can go a little bit more, a bit smoother. But yeah, it's been quite interesting. I don't know what you guys think about it, and well, I suppose is it something you have seen as quite positive. Something I've kind of been looking for is where the negatives are going to come from a 14, 10, 10, 10. Where the argument for not going. There's the obvious. There's splitting in cash prizes. Say that 25 million fund is still there moving forward. But I think if you finish at the bottom of League 2, you're talking, I think, about 50,000. So if you add a couple of more prize pots on the bottom of there, it's maybe another 100,000. But with a 25 million pot, it's possibly not going to take a huge deal off the other teams in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, it's just, I suppose a biggie for me is trying to think devil's advocate and what will be going against league reconstruction at this point.
Yeah, I think the thing though, the only negative I've seen so far is the idea that it might only be for like 1 or 2 seasons. Which, if they're going to do it, I think for me it's got to be the plan going forward. So they need to think it out properly, make sure it works for the long term rather than just a little stopgap really for saving some of these teams that are going to get relegated. I think that's important for me personally.
I guess it's interesting, the 14, 10, 10, 10, but I think that's the most realistic proposal if there are going to change things, because I don't see a massive shake-up. I've heard, like 16 teams in the league. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I would love to see it going forward, but at the moment I think 14, 10, 10, 10 is the more realistic proposal.
Yeah, as long as to be honest, if it's something that only sticks for a year or two, because I think the 10, 10 and 10 could potentially still be condensed in some way to, even if it is the 3 leagues down the line. But I suppose the main thing for me is that I just hope that by the end of this we know what's going to happen, and we don't go into it saying that we're going to go for this 14, 10, 10 and 10, and then we're going to review it over the next 2 years to continue with our original reconstruction plan type thing. I just hope whatever they're deciding to do, it's all decided and people know where they stand. So if it is a case of somewhere along the lines at the end of next season, one league's having to relegate more than the normal number or the number of teams that are coming up or whatever, then as long as it's set in stone and everybody knows where they're standing, I'll kind of be all right with it. I just hope that whatever they do, it's all clear and we'll know exactly what's going to happen over the next couple of years, and there'll be no surprises, I suppose. No more votes.
10 teams in I've been massively critical with 10 teams in a football league. I think it's boring for the fans. I think they need to change that, and we're getting, we've got the West of Scotland coming in at our level, and we're, East of Scotland are getting, I think, like 10 teams, new teams into their league. I mean, it's going to get to a point where we're going to have all these sort of non-league teams, and it has to open up in terms of the SPFL, and that's why I was totally against them losing maybe or whatever it would have been. We need to open it up more than the 42.
For the size of the country, though, for the size of Scotland, it's got a lot of football teams, don't get me wrong, but see, one of them that I kind of like the look of is the 14, 16, 16, and doing that, and that opens up, from what we've got just now, it opens up 4 more teams to go up. And you see the way the pyramid's set up just now, I don't think it's not like the back in the day where it was literally that you only had 42 teams. There's always potential for teams to work up and make their way into it, but it's bigger than just the 4 or 3 leagues, if that's what it ends up being. It's bigger than that now anyway, because you're Highland and Lowland, East, West, all that it's all sort of included in Scottish football just now. But as far as the top tier goes, I don't personally see the huge benefit of doing 14, 16, 16 and having another league of 16 or 14, 12, 12 and 12. Like, I think at some point that there might be to the point where there is too many teams, and the pyramid can benefit teams that kind of want to play at that level to a certain extent. So I don't know, it's a tricky one, but I think there's definitely opportunity with the amount of teams, and especially the amount of disparity that you've maybe got between some of the leagues at the moment, to open it up just to speed the process along a little bit. But I think, you're 40, 50 teams. I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing for the population of the country that we're in, obviously.
I would disagree with that in a sense that, like, if you're looking at the top Lowland League teams and top Highland League teams, they could easily, and we've seen it in the Scottish Cup, be in league football. Then obviously the West of Scotland, I know it's kind of the tier below at the moment, but then you've got the likes of Willocken, like Talbot, Pollock, and that. They could probably realistically play in league football and be at higher tiers. So you're going to get, I think it's easy enough to at least get, at least 12 teams or 6. You probably could get your 16 just from, and we've not mentioned East of Scotland, but Bo'ness could probably be in league football, and the top, all the top teams in non-league could probably potentially be in sort of league football if you're looking at it from standard and quality and whatnot. And that's why I wouldn't want to get rid of a league, basically.
I agree. And when I say getting rid of a league, it's still adding numbers to the number of teams that are in the top flight. I don't think that there's not enough teams to perhaps fill it, but I think you always want the top of the top couple of teams in the Highland and the Lowland to be good enough to make a step up to League 2. And if you increase it by another 4 teams, maybe 6 or 8, I don't know how the numbers would work, but you probably would still have that. If you add in too many, though, you get to the point where you've got teams that are winning the Highland and Lowland, the Highland and Lowland League, that aren't really good enough to go up. And I know there's a lot of teams that are below League 2 that have got the potential to play up there, but to be fair, there's some teams in League 2 that are better suited to play in the Highland and Lowland League as well. So I think you want when you look at where the cut-off is, you want a couple of teams below the cut-off that are good enough to fight and make their way into League 2 than having teams that are getting into League 2 that perhaps it's not really their level and it maybe dilutes it a little bit too much.
What are your thoughts, Ben? Have you got any thoughts on that sort of?
Yeah, I think the thing is as well, there'll be teams down in the Lowland League, Highland League, West, East, etc. that have got aspirations to be bigger. I think that's important. It allows them to do that rather than kind of like, for example, in the West for a long time we've had the kind of ceiling of junior football, and once you get to the top of the West Premiership, then there's nowhere for you to go. Now, coming into the senior football and the pyramid, these teams are about to find their place. It's important. I think Talbot is a good example, are absolutely capable of being a team that are League Two, potentially, maybe even League One, with the right kind of investments and money and things like that they might need to do that. But they're definitely capable. You've seen the Scottish Cup when they play against teams, and they've turned over some teams in the higher divisions in the last few years. I think it was Cove they beat. This year round they beat Cooper in League Two, so they're capable. Again, you mentioned Paul, another good example of a team that definitely have the ability to go higher. Clydebank, you've got aspirations of being a senior side and have done since pretty much they came back into junior football. I think obviously they went bust, and once they returned to playing junior football, they've always had that aspiration. Ourselves, I mean, Echo-Winning, of course we've got the aspirations. I think sky's the limit. For us personally, we don't really know what we can be. I think is probably the thing to say. It's all about for us just now is getting our ground in order, so it's suitable for playing in the senior football. But who knows, to say in 5 years' time we're going to be a potential League Two club or a challenging Lowland League club. Who knows? I guess like yourselves, like Kelty and things like that, you all look like a team that are going to be really capable. I think you could probably push on. I don't know if I agree with that, but you look capable enough to actually go and push on to be a top side.
Agreed, and I think as much as I'm quite proud of the fact that like non-league's really strong, and I've heard that obviously about the increasing standards, you want league football to increase in standards, as well, and that's why they need to sort of open up and give the teams where we are, an opportunity to basically get to their level or find their level. I know it's often said find their level and all that sort of stuff, but it's true. It needs to happen higher up as well as it does here.
Yeah, there'll be teams certainly in League Two that are probably, as Shaun kind of mentioned, they're like almost punching above their weight because they've been protected by the kind of lack of relegation from League Two. And only now you've got that, it looks like those teams will find themselves out, and probably are quite scared of the fact that there's teams like your Kelties, your Bonnyrods, your Up and like Talbot's potentially coming to take their place at some point soon.
I just had a sort of idea a wee bit earlier, but since the sun is shining and it's a good day, did you have any sort of thoughts on your favourite away days this season? Any sort of good moments being away to a different club?
Easy one for me. Irvine Meadow at the start of the season, sun was shining. Carlo Monti had a cracking free kick to win 2-1 against our local rivals Irvine Meadow. That can't be taught for me. I wasn't at the away day where we played Rutherglen. Rutherglen beat us. Rutherglen winning 4-1, and we come back to win 5-4 under the floodlights at Rutherglen. That's probably any bus fan's favourite away day who was there, but I unfortunately missed that game. So for me, it was the medal game, 2-1. Carlo Monti free kick. It was exceptional to watch.
I didn't actually get to as many away games this season as I did last season, but that Spartans game at Ainsley Park, horrendous conditions. Kelty were able to nick it right at the death, and it was an even game, and those are a bit more. They're always a bit more exciting, especially when you can come away with 3 points. That's probably been one of the better away days. But gutted that we didn't get to go to I was looking forward to New Dundas Park. Absolutely looking forward to that game. I was gutted that one never materialised, but regardless of how the season's looking next season, I'm looking forward to getting a few more away games again next season.
I was quite similar, Shaun. I mean, I didn't get to as many away days as I would have liked this season, but certainly for me, Cali Braves, when they had their first sort of Saturday fixture against Kelty at Alliance Park, the sun was shining, it was a good day. They had like a sort of chain pub or whatever beside the ground. It was great. It was fantastic. Obviously, the team was going out with the pipers and the cameras in there. It was quite exciting, but yeah, I was a wee bit glad I never got to Civil as much as I did, because me and Mozza had a brilliant time there last season. Gala was good. I liked going to Linlithgow like a few years ago with Mozza. It was last season, I think, with Mozza. It was fantastic, great day out. But I'm looking forward to the away days as much as any when we get back to football. we'll move on to plugs, Ben, and I know you've always got stuff to plug, so where can people sort of find you and whatnot?
The best thing for me is I'm on Twitter at Mr. Ben Grant's my Twitter account. I seem to have been picking up some followers from the official catch-up appearances. I noticed that quite a bit recently, and I run my own podcast as well, which is more about kind of music, unsigned bands from Scotland. So it's at Offgrid FM on Twitter. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the good stuff. I do a podcast probably about once a week, pretty much. So that's playing some new music for you to check out if you like to find out about new kind of unsigned up-and-coming bands from Scotland.
Yeah, you can find me in the usual place. Just that's Shaun Spedden on Twitter, and I suppose the easiest way is to find it through the official Catchup Twitter handle.
Yeah, you can find me at Rampant FM, official Catchup at official Catchup. You can get us on Facebook at, I think, Lone League Catchup, and Instagram, official.catchup, I think it is, Sean. But yeah, Facebook's not been as active as Twitter because I just can't really stand being on Facebook, to be honest. But yeah, usual places for the pods, obviously Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, pretty much YouTube, everywhere, basically. But yeah, it's been a great chat today, guys. Obviously, we're still all missing the football, but it's good to catch up with you guys on a sort of semi-regular basis and see what everyone's up to and whatnot. And it's been obviously great chatting to the players and gaffers. I'm sort of keeping that going as well. So, hopefully everyone's keeping safe and hopefully we'll hear some more news about league reconstruction and whatnot soon.